to the High Performance PT Academy podcast. I am your host, Tony Pang, and we have another phenomenal guest with us today. This is somebody who I'd worked with previously, just to help them with their own physical shape, and has now come back to revisit and revamp and reinvest back into her business, and she is absolutely flying. I'm excited to bring on Jodie Manson.
Thank you so much for having me on, Tony. I appreciate it.
Honestly, it's been phenomenal, Jodie. Been able to watch you develop and grow, and I think like a lot of people who are not in the academy don't get to see what's going on. Don't get to see what you guys are able to do and achieve, and it honestly just been able to kind of allow to watch you guys know that you could be so successful in what you do if you just had that right tool, if you just had the right push in the right direction to believe in yourself that you could go to different heights.
100% agree. Like, I never knew that I would ever get to this level. Like, it's honestly, I can't put into words how amazing and outstanding it actually is.
So let's fill the viewers and listeners in, Jodie. So give us a wee bit of background about yourself. So why did you become a PT in the first place?
So the reason I became a PT was basically just to help people become a better version of themselves and actually educate them and get them along their journey the best way possible. I actually had a PT myself maybe about 7 years ago because I was pretty underweight, and at that point I didn't really know anything. I was just at school at that age. So the next step for me, I had something called glandular fever, and when I got that I was so underweight and got a PT, and he basically helped me to get to where I want to be. And he knew for the day that he had me in that gym that like anything he would say to me, I would know right away. Like, I would take it in, I'd go and research it, etc., go on Instagram and look everything up, and it was just, he knew at that point, like, go and get your goals, like, this is what you want to do, like, personal training is you. And I was like, no chance, I'm not doing it. Like, I was in an office job 9 to 5, and then when I got into it, like, it was just amazing. Like, I left my job with £500 to my name and just went straight into it and started changing lives the day I was in. Like, that's one of the big things, is like, a PT, you've got to put in the hours and the effort as soon as you get your qualification. It's not just as simple as just saying, like, that's it and shutting the door after. So
was a turning point for you the fact that you reached out to a personal trainer and he helped you from where you were?
Definitely, because like, see the way he transformed me personally, like, it was just something like, it's completely changed my life around, and I wanted to give that same perspective to individuals that I'm now working with. So I wanted to be that role model that he was to me.
Yeah, and I feel like there are so many PTs that we use our own journey and what we went through in the past to kind of motivate others who are in the exact same experience that, look, I was in that position too.
Yep, definitely.
And one of the best things that you could ever do is be like, I'm going to reach out for help.
Yep.
I'm going to ask somebody that knows more than me to basically be able to guide me through this, because I'm just not quite sure.
Yep, this is it. Like, see, you've got to put money into a business. Like, you can't just expect as soon as you get a business, you've got to invest in to become better. Like, you need the help sometimes, and it's the best investment ever just to put money into your business to make it back.
Yeah. So let's go on, obviously. How long have you been a PT, Jodie?
It'll be 3 years I've been a PT now. Okay.
So how did that journey start for you?
So when I started my journey, I was in the gym group, and I would be working. I probably worked in there. It was like the kind of service hours it was class. I was doing like, I think it was 12 I was doing. Just like doing like classes and stuff like that to build up my kind of reputation and stuff. Thereafter, I managed to come off that within the first 6 months and build up my clientele for there. So I was working probably about 30 to maybe 25 to 30 hours when I initially started, and then as it progressed, before I came to you, Tony, it's probably about 30 to kind of 45 I was kind of working.
Okay, so you were busy.
Aye, definitely.
I mean, you've been doing personal training for 3 years with 30 hours to your name, so you were busy at what you done. Yeah, so you're obviously good at what you done. So what were you charging at that point?
It would depend on like the blocks. It would be anywhere between £25 and £30 an hour.
Okay, so with all that, for you, what changed? Because I would say if you're a personal trainer doing 30 or 40 hours a week and charging £30 an hour to that degree, his money was okay, money was good.
It was fine.
So what changed? What made you think there's got to be more to this?
Do you know what it was, Tony? See, all the hours you put into personal training, it's brilliant, but it becomes draining. It's like mentally draining, and my own training was affected. Like, it would be grab something, go, like my nutrition was just non-existent, or sometimes I just wouldn't even have the time to eat, and if it would be absolute crap. It wouldn't even be good. So it was just trying to like get to like, it's like finding the balance more. It was finding the balance between actually focusing on yourself, focusing on your own nutrition, but also giving your clients like a 10 out of 10, because when you're working like 12-hour shifts, like 4 days a week, that's what I was doing. Like, some of them just weren't getting like 100% of my effort, just because.
Yep, I agree. If you're waking up at 5 in the morning to do a client at 6, like by the time it gets to 8 or 9 o'clock at night, like how much are you really actually giving your client?
Exactly, I know. It's only, see, even to be honest, it'd be like 50%. It wouldn't even be full percent. And sometimes just the stuff you were saying to them, you're just kind of looking there going, what are you talking about?
Yeah, going for. I remember earlier on in my journey that you would be that drained and the client would be doing the exercise and they're like, what rep am I on? And I'm like, 6.
It's just like a rep counter, isn't it?
You just come up with this number, and it was, yeah, definitely. I feel as though I used to feel that doing 40, 50 plus hours a week was that badge of honour. That was what a successful PT was.
It was always like being the most hours in the gym, but see, when you look back on it now, it's like, no, that isn't the answer.
It's not. And when you associate with it, like, it's like how many clients have you got or how many hours are you doing, that you don't realise that the money can be good and you can still not be happy.
Exactly. You
know what I mean? And I think a lot of the PTs is, by the time you let yourself go and you've gave that time away to your clients, I've found it's difficult for you guys to get that back.
Yep.
Because you're scared about, well, that client's got the slot, and if I then need to move them, what happens if they leave me? And there's just a lot of fear that, how am I ever going to get this time back? So if you're working 40 hours a week, how am I going to like make the same, or how am I going to make more if I then work less hours?
Yep.
Did you ever have that? Did you ever try and charge more, or did you just feel?
I was too scared. Like, although like I was doing like the kind of PT sessions and that, like the timing that I've got with them to give them more information and actually educate them more, because now like my kind of role is like when they come into their session, it's like we work and like that's where you learn like your techniques and that's where we do like your exercise, whereas before it would be like we've got to teach them like all their nutrition on this, like this is your calories. So they've got more time with me now after all of this. They've actually got me for more hours in a day rather than just like 1 hour out of full.
Yeah, so you feel like obviously your service has changed now from what you're doing. Definitely. And you feel like your services kind of come on tenfold. Clients have got more support from you, more guidance, more education, better results. So from what you were doing before, were you doing any online, or was it just?
No, I was only doing it once because one of my clients worked at sea, and it really was just like a training plan helping me with nutrition, and that's where I was kind of stuck. Like, I just didn't know. I'd look up to people on like Instagram, like yourself and that, like obviously I came to yourself and I was just like I don't know the next step and how to be like a good online coach. So I don't want to go in and just like not be 100% on it. I'd rather know what to go on. So I was only doing like one client, so it was totally new to me.
Okay, so it was mostly just personal training.
Aye.
Yeah. So when you felt as though, look, I need to get out this.
Yep.
Yeah, and you reached out, there was obviously some sort of epiphany or turning point where you were like, do you know what, something's got to change. Like, what made you then take the plunge? What made you make that decision?
I just needed change, and obviously like COVID did come as well, which was a big factor, because during like the first, when was that, March I think, I was only making like £400 for like 4 months. It was like ridiculous. I had no source of income at all. Like, my savings were taking a batter into it, definitely.
Okay.
But I wanted to become an online coach and successful and have a successful platform as well, rather than just being like working within the gym. Like, that's something I always wanted to do, but I just genuinely had no idea how to actually do it and successfully do it.
Okay, so I think when we spoke to Nicky a few weeks ago as well, is that when the income took the hit with obviously all the gyms closing, and that's all you've ever done one-to-one, it's a bit daunting, and there's definitely that fear there is, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do?
Yep.
My savings are running out.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? So
definitely.
What I want to know is, what was the difference between you? So obviously your savings were taking a battering. So what was that point for you that said, you know what, I need to put some money into this to actually get out the hole I'm in?
So obviously, Mike Martin from my kind of work was working with you, and he talked to me a lot about you, and I seen a lot on Instagram, and it kept coming up, and I'm like this is just meant to be. Obviously, like, your face was just coming up all of a sudden. I was like, oh god, and that's when I reached out to you, and you obviously took me to like your link and all that. But it was just, you kept coming up everywhere, and I just knew that I needed to make some sort of investment, because like when your money was like getting deducted, that loan I was ducking into my savings, like something just had to change. And that's when I was like, successful businesses, you need to put in your money to actually outcome. Like I was just PTing and not putting in any sort of money at all. It was just kind of going with the flow pretty much every kind of week. And
so obviously from looking at where you were to where you are now, there's been a massive shift. Like I've seen a massive shift in obviously your confidence. I've seen a massive shift in your service. Like from where you were, like doing the 40 hours, etc., charging 20, 30 pounds an hour, getting to that point of, look, do you know what? COVID hit.
Yep.
Income dropped drastically to almost non-existent. And did you think that online coaching was a thing? Did you think that
like,
it was...
That guy that was like my client, it was at sea, I was charging him £50 a month.
Okay.
Like, it was nothing, wasn't it? It really is nothing. And
so do you feel like you could have built a business of £50 a month?
Absolutely not. Not a chance.
Okay.
Especially with online, like it's like the amount of hours and time you actually put into it, like £50 is nothing. It really is nothing for what you're paying for in these kind of situations.
So what were you offering him before?
It was just a training plan and nutrition. Like I did have like a community group, but it was something that, again, I just wasn't really too sure. And the community that I built now, like they're all friends, like the guys and the girls, they all get along so well. We're like actually like a big family, and it's everybody's favourite part of the group because they just love it. Whereas before it was just like I'd post in like a wee recipe or something like every month. Like I just was never updating it constantly because I just never knew exactly how to like give the clients everything that they entirely needed. Whereas now I feel like I have got and I can give it every day.
So obviously when you came on, but how long have you been in the academy?
I think it was October, the end of October, so it's kind of like November I officially kind of started, so
okay.
4 months.
4 months. And in that 4 month time frame, how has things changed with your service?
I can't even put it into words. Like, I think I made like the money back within the first week, Tony. Like, that's what I was saying as well like, the other week there. Like, in January, like, I made just over double what I would just working from home. Like, not doing any PT sessions at all. Like, my knowledge, like, everything. Like, I feel as if... I feel as if like when I speak to my clients, like I'm just so much more confident and I can feel like I'm actually educating them a bit more. And I feel that like see when you're online, although it's brilliant speaking to your like your client face to face, like they have you more hours in the day. And the people that was with me before, like I do have long term clients, like they've even said themselves like this is amazing. Like the turn they've seen themselves is just they love it as well.
So they've seen you kind of grow and develop from what you were doing to what you're doing now, which has been honestly like I just feel like what people feel like online coaching is or what personal training is. Like what's the difference between a personal trainer who charges £20 an hour to a personal trainer that charges £50 an hour? There's quite a big distinction. And I think that that's the same with online coaches that are charging 10, 20, £50 an hour to coaches that are charging say 150 plus per hour,
you know the difference.
Per month. There's a huge difference in the service that you provide.
Definitely.
So obviously from what you're doing with your one-to-one, how has that changed now? Are you still, is it 40 hours with your one-to-one or?
So when obviously cause like COVID and that now, I've still need to figure out how many I've got, but I'm going down to 2 days now, personal training. So my hours will be dropped in 2 days. So I've lost 2 days, and my online clientele, I now have 40 odd online clients. So that's going to be like my main kind of base.
So see going forward then, are you predominantly going to have just a small one-to-one training base? And then just have that majority being online just to give you that flexibility, the freedom. I mean, how has your life changed now that you have that online platform there for you? Like
my life's totally different from what it was like 4 months ago. Like the freedom I've got, like even just like with my partner, just time, like that was another thing. Like see when you're personal training, like you're up at 5:30, you're in your work first act, you're literally dragging yourself out your bed, brushing your hair on the way to work, and then you're working like 10 hours, 12 hours, and then you're literally in the door grabbing something to eat as fast as you can and literally just falling asleep. Like I have the ability just to actually focus on myself. Like obviously friends and family, like when normal is you'll be able to go and see them more. Like just there's so much more time and flexibility within your own life because like you've got to be a role model to your clients. So if you're not taking care of yourself and you're just never going to work, like you need to, I want them to look up to me and be like, I want to look like her, like I want to be like her. So if you're not giving that impression to them, like, it's just a bad relationship.
I remember actually you speaking about that on our first kind of call, that the hours that you were working, you weren't able to spend enough time with your partner.
No, I genuinely wasn't. And there's like a kind of difference between like where we stay as well. So it was just once a week if we're even lucky. It would never have worked long term if that was the case with the work. Like, this is why the online's just been life changing completely to me in every aspect.
Yeah, so it's more than just obviously the actual business itself.
Definitely.
It's that whole life outside that business that
Yep.
I would say that for a lot of PTs, when you get busy, you get sucked in that trap of not having enough time for yourself, not having enough time for your family, not having enough time for your relationship.
Yep.
And when you don't have all these things in line, something's got to crack.
Yep. Definitely. Like, even like friends like that, they would never, even family would never understand your job, like working like 4 evenings, and like, it is obviously unsociable hours when you're PT, but it's just life. I honestly can't explain like how life changing it has been joining the high performance PT.
And I think because obviously we don't, and you'd spoke about this earlier as well, like our job is to kind of allow us to help your clients like totally transform. So you're taking on their problems, their
Yep.
struggles. Like, there's a lot more to this than just...
Oh, definitely. Like, that's what I say to all my clients as soon as I sign up. Like, I'm not just a coach just going to speak to you once a week. Like, see, even to some of my clients, like, I'm a counsellor, and do you know something? Like, I'm happy to be a counsellor. If that's what they need me there for, I'm happy to be that there and just be standing there beside them and be their role model, 110%.
And that's more difficult when you are doing the hours
Yep.
with a PT, because
Yep.
you've got a client, then you've got another client.
Yep,
then
you've got a backlog of messages as well.
You've got a backlog of messages, and it can become exhausting, where I always felt as though you had to try and get back to everyone that day, and then your sleep was suffering.
Aye, exactly.
And
You
it
don't
was
want to leave
just,
them sitting.
and it was just constant. So obviously from what you're doing now then, with COVID hit, PT, did you just drop that off for the time being then?
For when COVID hit?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, during the summer I did do it, but I dropped my price. I think it was like £15 an hour or something I was doing then. But again, that is because I was forking into my savings. Like, I had no sort of income at all during the first
So were you
couple of months
doing
of COVID.
outdoor PT at 15 an hour?
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, I would say to a lot of PTs, like, you're doing whatever you can
Yep.
to make money
Aye.
at that point, because there's no real support from the government or anything else.
No, not.
So I guess you are kind of just doing what you can just to get through the worst of this. So I mean, for you, if you didn't really feel like for the online, what you were charging £50 a month, that was going to be a business, what made you want to take that transition to actually create that online business that you've now got?
It's just it's the flexibility, and like some of my clients do text me every day, and like if I was doing PT all the time and like charging like £50, like, it's just when you have got that flexibility and that more time, like, you can just give your clients more. Like, I have the time to go and do like nutritional courses or different sort of like programs, or like loads of different stuff I can do to go and better myself and be there for my clients more. But when you're like doing all, even when I was doing like PT outside, like, I was still working crazy hours. I was working the pitch black and the rain. Like, it was terrible. It was mentally draining, and you're coming in, you were soaking for the rain, and you were miserable.
Yeah.
You were miserable.
Yeah. So if we look at, right, that was before, now we're coming into that after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously, things are different now.
Oh, honestly, amazing.
Things are different. There's no crazy outdoor PTing.
No.
You are looking to, when the gyms open back up, you are looking to go back to the gym.
Yep. Even my clients prefer the online, like, rather than outdoor PT. They now, like, they're loving it.
Okay.
They're absolutely loving it.
So obviously you're going back to the gym.
Yep.
Limited hours again. Probably what?
Probably about 20 hours, I would say, over.
20 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time just focusing on what
Online.
you're doing with the
Yep.
online. So from all of that then, obviously the time you're going to have from the time you had before, like, it sounds like you're still going to be busy on both fronts, whether you're doing 40 hours of one-to-one,
Yep.
or whether you're now doing 30 or 40 hours with a wee bit of one-to-one, plus
Yep.
you're online. How has that affected, obviously, you financially? Since joining, what's been your biggest win?
Honestly, Tony, like, last month I brought in $6,000, and see, if you told me last year, like, when COVID hit, I would have laughed in your face. I'd be like, no chance. Like,
And what's that feeling from you telling me the £400 a month in COVID?
like, honest to, like, see, when you look at your bank, sometimes you're just like, and obviously it's not like about all the money, but it's just, It's honestly life changing. Like, there's just so many opportunities, even just to invest in your business. It's honestly life changing. I just cannot explain enough how much it's definitely worth it.
And I think for a lot of PTs as well, that obviously the main drive for any business is income, right? But if I'd asked you before you joined, would you have needed $6,000 to survive? You probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't need anywhere near that.
No. So I still had money, do you know what I mean? But it was just mentally draining.
So to the point of where you're at now, it no longer becomes about the money coming in because you know you're stable.
Yep.
And you're focusing on the clients. You're probably working with more clients you enjoy. Yeah.
Yep.
And for every one of those clients, the relationship you've got, the service, the communication, everything about that actually makes you enjoy what you're doing now.
Definitely.
And I feel like with a lot of PTs, when you get too busy, is that you can lose that love.
You can. As much as I loved personal training and everything about it, like, you just, when you're working all those crazy hours, like, you do, like, it's like when you've got all this free time now, it's just back to loving exactly what you've done, and it reminds you of why you actually done it, and it's to transform lives.
Yeah.
It's to change lives. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah. And obviously for you now, so things have changed going forward. I mean, you're still got so much more development and things that we are planning going forward now. Like, where do you see yourself going forward? What's the future going to look like?
So the future for me is just continuing to really build up my online base. I want to be like, especially down in the area that I'm in, I want to be like the go-to coach. Like, I want people to go, I don't know, something like, it's fine, I'm going to Jodie. Like, I want to be that person. I want to be a role model. I also want to grow like my kind of platforms as that as well. Because I was always just kind of Facebook. Like, I came onto you and I think I had like 90 followers on Instagram or something. It's all, do you know what I mean? It's all over like quality over quantity at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't matter if you have so many followers. It depends who actually is following you. I just want to be, I want to be a good role model. That is what I want to be. And I want to just be a really good online successful personal trainer and coach.
That's something interesting that you said there that always gets brought into conversation, right? And I actually, now that you brought that up, I completely forgot. You were predominantly only really on Facebook.
I never had Instagram.
That's right. I remember that now. So
I just had a personal one.
So from everyone that kind of, I always say, or people always say, look, to be a successful online coach, you need to have millions of followers.
Yep.
Yeah. And like you said, you came on with what, 90 followers? Probably not that many posts, I'm assuming.
No, I think I had one. Two, a push.
2 posts, right, okay. So, yeah, obviously we do go in, we focus in parts of the academy in terms of your marketing, like how you're going to get clients, what type of clients you want to work with, all that type of stuff. You'd hit right on the money there. Is it about likes?
No, it's not about likes. It's the engagement of who you're wanting to actually work with. Like, that's something else. Like, I'd take MD else on board before, but whereas now, like, through the marketing that you've like taught us and that, like, I'm hitting my niche, like who I want to work with, and I have the ability to actually turn people away that I don't think would be a good fit. Maybe if I don't get along with them too. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm working with people I actually want to work with.
Yeah, and I think that it gets easy just to work with people because you know you're going to pay them, or they're going to pay you even, rather than forgetting that, look, they aren't the type of people that I want to be working with, that are committed, that want to get results, that want to change their life, that are invested in this, and not people just looking for a wee quick fix for a short-term result, but there's no long-term drive in it. From all of that, I mean, for you now, from where you're going forward, like, this is only like a small snippet of what you're truly capable of in terms of, like, from where you want to be, right? How do you think, like, your life now, if we were to look back and where you were and what you're going to be doing with your life going forward now, like, what impact is that going to have?
Like, crazy amounts. Like, I never had time for nothing before. Like, I genuinely, and see if I did like have like a day off, I'd be sleeping. I couldn't even have the energy to train. I was just mentally drained. Whereas now, I've just got the flexibility to like do stuff like this, to do courses, to have time with my partner, friends, family. There's just so much more flexibility, and it's honestly life changing.
And we talk about one of the things in the academy is not only do we want you running a business, but the biggest asset in any business is you.
Yep.
And you are the biggest asset. So how's things changed? Obviously, you were mentioning before how when you were busy, the training was kind of here or there. The diet was on the go.
Yep.
How's that changed?
It's completely different. Like, honestly, like, this time, maybe last year, I was probably in the worst shape I have ever been. And it's just because I was doing crazy hours, grabbing it and on the go. Like, I would have like takeaways quite often just because I didn't generally have the time to cook food because I'd be up the next day. Whereas now, like, I have the time to train. Like, I feel like when I got up in the morning, like, I'm doing like my cardio and that now, so see, just going up and focusing on myself, I feel like it gives me the mind frame to actually have something to focus on the rest of the day. And obviously when the gyms and that go back as well, like, I'm going to have time to train properly, I'm going to have time to eat properly. Like, it's like when you need to have like this role model. I feel like when I was like in the worst kind of state, like, that's not a role model to your clients. If you're bringing somebody in to do fat loss and you're grabbing something quickly and go for Asda, like, that isn't a role model. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, and I have noticed such a difference in that. Like, see, even like, I would never do a photo shoot before, and obviously I had like a photo shoot today. I've got a photo shoot in May. That brings in a good kind of clientele as well, because they know you're working hard and they know you're caring about yourself as well. So I've noticed like a hell of a difference with that.
Who is it? Who is your main type of audience? Who's the type of clients that you liked or that you work with now?
So I like working with kind of girls between the age of probably 18 to about 25, 30 maximum.
Okay, and do you feel like they're like a younger version of yourself, that if you had the help and guidance or the help and guidance you can give them now, that you wish you'd had that?
Definitely.
Or that kind of reflects the help that you got?
But basically, yeah, definitely. Like, the help that I got as well, like, it was just life-changing towards me, and I want to be that role model towards my clients now. So that's the kind of reason that I kind of go for that kind of group, and I just get along with them really well, kind of bounce off them well as well.
Yeah. So obviously, if you were to talk, and you imagine you were talking to yourself or you were talking to other PTs out there that are ultimately sitting in that same position that you were in.
Yep.
I mean, what type of advice would you give to yourself or give to others out there that are in your shoes or were in your shoes?
Firstly, believe Tony with the price that he says, because I went in straight away and undercut myself, which I remember that was me.
Yeah, let's bring that to fruition. So, you've been a PT 3 years, Jodie. Yeah.
Yes.
You've been a PT 3 years. You were charging £20 to £30. We came up with a new pricing structure for you, and you went away and sold it for less.
I was a PT once that I came in and you met a message and you were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and you sold, you changed the price and you reduced the price. Why?
Wasn't confident, but then that's something that comes with this. Like, when you know the service you're giving is worth the money, like, it's all confidence. Like, you know that what you're giving is worth that money. So, like, why undercut yourself? And that's what I done.
So even you coming in, that confidence, and you would say that most
I can admit it.
Yeah, most PTs that are probably doing 30, 40 hours and charging 20, 30, like, the money was there, but the confidence was still at that point of, look, can I really charge more?
Yep,
Can
exactly.
I really do better? Like, is this it? Is this the most I've got to give? And you even coming on board when you done that, I was instant wake up call to be like, Jodie,
what are you doing?
Yeah, let's never undercharge and undercut yourself or your services ever again.
No, I learned for that.
That's totally transformed now.
Definitely.
Even
just going on a call and speaking to somebody, speaking in front of a camera before, I never had the ability to do that. Like, I would run away and hide in a corner. Yeah. Even just trying to do like a call with a client when they sign up, like, just everything's just changed. So
speaking to PTs that are sitting there that are like that, I don't know. So as much as you're saying trust in what I'm going to be delivering, is what would you say to the guys in your position?
The best investment you can do is putting money into your business and doing this, like, trusting it, and it's honestly, it's life changing. Like, if you could just see how much my life's transformed, you would understand yourself how much it's worth it.
And I know for you, you've been in the group.
Yeah.
You've seen the other guys. You've seen that. What difference does it have? Because I guess being surrounded by other PTs that are same success and more successful as yourself now, what does that do to your drive of your own business?
It's brilliant being surrounded with the like-minded people. Like, sometimes within this industry, I can find that everybody's a wee bit kind of judgmental every day. Like, nobody ever kind of wants to help, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like we should all just be helping and be friends with each other. Like,
everyone sees each other as competition, I feel.
And, like, I don't see the point in that. Like, that's why I like the high performance PT, because everybody is brilliant. Like, see if you need a question or need something answered, like if yourself is available or any of them, like everybody can help, and it's brilliant. All of them are also friendly, and they're always willing to help. Like, everybody's willing to help everything, just become a really good version of themselves.
And we've definitely had a couple of wobblers, Jodie.
Yeah.
Across the way, there's been a couple of messages straight to me, and it's been like, shit, I'm panicking and I need help, 100%. We've definitely had a couple of them. And the difference that I've seen within just a wee conversation with you is, I guess, how does that impact you, just being able to have me there to then when you hit that wee bit of that stumbling block and that doubt creeps in and you're hitting a bit of panic? Is you've definitely sent me a couple of messages like, I need help.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're always there for help. Like, if you ever need it, and even if it's just like your own sake or like business sake, like, you're always there available to help at any point.
And you've came off that call just thinking...
Aye, like, you come off like your calls like in the weekly occurrence and that, and they're just like, you're like, right, okay, brilliant, like, that's fine, that's that answered, tick it off, that's it, fine, to next week.
We're back in the game.
Yep.
So things have changed. Things are so much different.
Definitely.
From where you were. I guess you're still very new to all of this. There's so much more to come in the tank. You as a personal trainer and you as a business is still developing into something special, which I'm excited to see where we're going to go.
I know, I'm excited.
Where we're going to go with this. Do you have a kind of end vision of what's the dream?
The dream is just to be as successful as I can. Like, I'm never one for just saying like you're fully satisfied. I never feel like you are fully satisfied. Like, you've always got to become a better version of yourself constantly, and that's just where I want to be. Like, I never want to be satisfied where I'm at. I'm always want to develop and just become, just even for my clients' sake as well, like, I just want to be there available for them and just give them the best service possible. Not that I wasn't, but I just really want, that's my end goal. I just want to really focus on that business wise, and then for myself I really want to focus on trying to kind of bulk up a wee bit more, because before I never had the ability to do that, and now that I've got you kind of focusing on like my nutrition and my training, that's a hell of a help as well.
Yes, you've still got your own, you're now focusing more on yourself again.
Aye, because I wasn't. I let myself go. I put my hands up to that, I did, but I was just far too busy PTing, doing crazy hours. I just let myself fall.
We all get to that point at some point. The difference is when does enough become enough?
Exactly.
Like, when do you ever decide that things need to change?
Yep.
And I guess for a lot of people, they don't know until things get to the worst of the worst.
Yep.
And at that point, you're kind of forced to do it. A bit like you were forced to change because of COVID.
Yep.
And a lot of people that were successful as a one-to-one trainer, COVID came along, whether they were able to adapt going online or not, it totally flipped the industry on its head, massively, to the point that if you weren't able to go online and be successful, is that you were going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yep. And that's the thing as well, like, even though we've had this with COVID, like, the turnover in clients I've had during this time's been crazy. So it just means when the gyms do reopen and you've got this, like, it'll be even better. Like, it'll be even crazier.
Yeah, and you've got that opportunity now where if you wanted to do PT in the gym, you can. If you were going to stay online, you can. You could do both. And I think that freedom is more valuable than the income, because as much as I say that to everyone, my job is to help you make more money, but it's more to create financial security, which is going to be different for everybody. But what that allows you to do is focus on the stuff that you actually like doing.
Exactly.
Which is the client fulfillment, changing their lives, educating them, empowering them, and just allowing them to believe that you can get them to wherever they want to be just with that wee bit of guidance, that wee bit of support.
Exactly.
And I think that when you don't need to worry about money and you don't need to worry about all the things going on in the background,
the tables just turn.
You can do what you love.
Yep.
And when you do more of the stuff you love, you wake up on a Monday just excited.
I know, like, even before, like, see when it was a weekend, like, going to a Monday, I'm like, oh my god, it's Monday coming again. But see now, it's just, like, I don't even dread it at all. Like, I'm excited to get up and go and start working. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm excited, Jodie. I mean, you definitely have done, like, absolutely phenomenal from the time you've been in to now. There's been so much growth and development from you as a person in terms of your confidence. The business is growing from strength to strength, and it's such a fast rate. I know obviously we've planned on loads of things happening in the future, so I can't wait to watch that come into fruition.
No, thank you.
For all the people obviously out there, where can they kind of find you in terms of like socials and things like that?
So my Facebook is Jodie Manson Personal Training, and my Instagram is jodie.fitness_.
Yeah. And so for anyone that needs any questions or anything, wants to find out more about the academy, then Jodie is by all means a fantastic example of what you can really do with the right help and support in your side, and how your life can change from that fear of £400 a month
Yep.
to £6,000 a month. Was, if I'd said to you that was going to happen, would you have ever believed it?
No. Honestly, like, see when you think about it, like, it's crazy, but it happens. Like, it happens when you've got Tony.
You know what I mean? So
genuinely.
So guys, that was awesome to catch up with Jodie. We've definitely got more in stall for you with the other guys in the following weeks. And no, I'm thanks for coming on, Jodie.
No, thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to how much more is to come from you. And it's a definitely exciting future ahead.
Definitely. No, it's brilliant. It's been the best investment I've ever made.
Right, guys, I'll speak to you soon.